I'll introduce myself. I'm Rick McKenzie. I'm an emergency physician, formerly a lead emergency physician at Lehigh Valley Hospital, and now retired active. So that's my kind of aspect. But emergency medicine, I was an emergency medicine physician for over 40 years. So I have seen a lot. And I'm the alumni of this trip. And also OG of this trip.
Nice.
So this will be my fourth time going there. And also, I like to consider myself somewhat of a scientist, and they got it right from a scientific standpoint. I'm pointing over here to Mike Zasowski and Pete. They are the originators of this thing. Pete, you were the originator, and you came along later.
Yeah, it was my partner was the originator. I came in after Mike did, actually. Well, at the same time.
Yeah. And so they're going to tell you a little bit about Serving at the Crossroads and Manos Amigas Clinic, and we'll open it up for questions. All right.
Well, good morning, and I'm glad it's small and informal because I like that kind of a thing where I don't have to worry about misstatements and things like that. But Serving at the Crossroads is an initiative that was started at Westminster Presbyterian Church in Westchester. It started out with a mission trip, and Pete is a dentist, and he was on the mission trip with his partner, who is the actual founder of the group, of the concept of what we should be trying to do. And we were invited by a Presbyterian church in New Jersey to come and help with a school in Honduras. And Pete and his partner were going to do clinical dentistry. And I'm going along because they're building an annex to the school, and I can dig ditches, so we can do that. So we got started doing it. We spent a week, but I didn't last a week digging ditches. I can tell you, you can tell with my structure that I can't handle that. And I was really put down because I saw women digging ditches out there that could really move the stuff. And old Mike, 6'2" of me, I'm trying to move the dirt. But long story short, Pete's up there. He's in a nice place. He's in a shed with a generator and a lawn chair held in place by 2 cinder blocks doing clinical dentistry. Wow. So, Pete's having a hard time, and he yells out the window. He says, "Hey, Mike, I need an x-ray technician. Are you interested?" Hey, my mama didn't raise a fool. I'm ready. I can't stand a week of digging dirt. So anyway, I watched them work, and a man had stepped on a board. A Honduran had stepped on the board the last day we were there. The nail went through his foot. Oh. And the people said, there are doctors up at the school. And anybody wears a white coat, or whatever, is a doctor there. So they had no medical care. And that's was intriguing to us, that this man who was in misery, he needed a tetanus shot. There's no place he was going to get it. So Pete's partner, when we got back, he didn't talk on the airplane the whole way back home. Didn't say a word. Thought he was sick. And he was thinking. And the thought came to him. He says, they need medical care more than they need a school. They have schools. They're not great, but they have them. Now, dentistry and medicine, they have signs out there, but there's nobody there. And the facilities at the time, we didn't know what they had. It was meager. So their biggest contribution would be if we could put a clinic in that town. So that was his dream. So for the last 22 years, we've been fulfilling this dream. And, Honduras, I don't know if you were like me, I don't know if I knew where Honduras was.
I have an idea, but I could use the map.
Okay, well, if you just picture yourself in the panhandle of Florida, the western panhandle, and you go due south, you'll kiss Cuba, and you're going to come into wow.
It's delayed. It's about 2 seconds delayed.
Right, let me try this. Good technology.
Yeah.
You're going to come into a place called San Pedro Sula. That's the second largest city in the country. And they've got amenities that you would expect in a city, but it's Honduran style. Well, once you get there, you've got to get to where we are in this place called La Entrada. Mileage-wise, it's probably about 80 miles or something like that, but it takes 2.5 hours. The road's under construction now, and it could take as long as 5 hours, depending on which part of the mountain you're trying to move on a particular day. But it's across the mountains, and you get to the town. And people are always curious, what's the town like? I want to share with you what the town is like. La Entrada sits in the valley. It's La Entrada, Spanish for the entrance to the valley of the Maya people. So you're all the hills around. This is the town. 25,000 people. 25,000 people. That's Main Street. You'll see a lot of transportation in pickup trucks. People on bicycles or walking. And occasionally you get a strange visitor in town. It's nothing unusual to see somebody strolling down the street. Transportation, you walk. If you've got a few coins in your pocket, you might be able to get a taxi, a three-wheel rickshaw, essentially. See a lot of those around. If you go another street over, you're going to see people who really travel and go up into the hills. It's pack animals. And you don't see it so much on the main road in town, but you got to go just for a road or two outside town. And this is what you'll see. Now, you're always hungry. This is a local KFC. You don't mess with people's chickens. You don't mess with them. I mean, that is food. And we take food for granted. It's like we always have it. They don't. They live 24 hours a day. This was a revelation to us. It's like people are praying to God that get me through today. Give me my daily food. And they don't know where the food's coming from, because I've seen, and Pete's seen it, people scavenge out of Dempsey dumpsters. And some families live on a municipal dump. And they go through the garbage and find, is there something I can sell today that I can buy something? And that's something usually is food. So you give them a choice between food and medicine. You've got to have food, but if you got the food and you're sick, you're not going to make it anyway. So you need both. How do you do it? And it's a constant battle with them. This is a typical home in Honduras, on the side of a hill. The mountains in Honduras don't think the rugged peaks of the West Coast. It's not that at all. They're rounded. They're older mountains. They're more like mashed potatoes on a plate, the kind of rounded dome. And so they go up, they go up the mountainside through the trail. That's a pretty good home. It's got a roof. You notice the house adjacent, it's got some tarps. You're going to see a lot of 3 walls on a tarp. This is a modern home. This is a block home. They had enough money to buy block and put a steel roof on it. This is the inside of one of those homes. Most of the homes have dirt floors. This one has concrete floors, so that's pretty good. But the rooms are not compartmentalized like we have in our houses. There'll be a wire or a roof that's strung across the room with a burlap sack on it, and that's how they divide their rooms. That's how you get your privacy. So you can sleep on a bed, and they're fortunate to have a bed, because a lot of people still sleep in hammocks. It's a typical family. Sticks and stones are what make the home. They have windows but no window panes. They have a door but no door. Or put a burlap sack or something down to keep the insects out and keep the rain out. But that's how they live. Take a look at the dog. Good indicator. If it's a family that's got plenty of food, that dog is a little fatter than this one. But it's very typical. And very typical construction. Well, having seen that, we're going to put a clinic in here. What should it look like? Where do we start? Mayor gave us a building. And we started with a 1-room building, 1 light bulb hanging down from the center of the ceiling. Actually, we had 2 rooms, a storage room and a diagnostic room. That was it. And we're trying to figure out, how do we help people, and how do we get the people to help themselves? And that's a real challenge. So our operating model is one of aiding, informing, and empowering people. We try to stay very, very close to that mission. Can we do that? Not sure how to do it. We talked to the mayor, and the mayor, I can remember very vividly standing up in front, pointing his finger at us, and he says, "I've heard this story more than 200 times." He says, "Don't waste my time if you're not serious." So Pete, Bob, and I, we started talking. He said, "This mayor doesn't know us. we're going to try to make something permanent in this town, but we need input from the people because we don't want to give them something that they can't maintain. And what we don't want to do is to come for a week and go home and ask, what are you doing the other 51 weeks of the year? So that's the idea of getting behind them, trying to provide them with the information, a skill set if we need to, and empower them, have Hondurans serving Hondurans insofar as possible. This building is what I call the Tinker Toy Clinic. We assemble all the pieces in the United States. This is panel construction. Through a very miraculous series of events, we ran into a contractor in Little Rock, Arkansas, who said, I have teams of builders that come together and travel around the world and we can put this building up for you. So we got the money together. It took us a few years. And everything you see in that building, the glass, the doorknobs, the screws, the roofing, everything came from the States in cargo containers. We sent crews from various parts of the United States, people we didn't know, who volunteered for a humanitarian effort to come down over a series of 8 months to put this structure up. We have a permanent staff. These are paid staff. Everybody else in serving at Crossroads is a volunteer. There are no salaries on our part. We are a 501c3, which says make a donation. The IRS allows you to take it off your income taxes. So we're legitimate. But we don't operate that way in Honduras because we are an American entity. We need to create an entity in the country. So we created an organization called Manos Amigas, helping hands. And they are essentially the Honduran equivalent of a 501c3 recognized by the government doing public service for the good of the country. This is a staff of 23. We have 3 dentists, 3 doctors, a pharmacist, and you'll meet some of the other people, plus the nurses and the clinicians that you need to run the facility. These are some of the services that we offer. Dentistry was the big thing because people there would only go to the dentist with, I got a toothache, and you go to the dentist, you get it pulled. They don't think in terms of cleaning teeth. They don't think in terms of preserving teeth. They do now, but they didn't when we first arrived. Here's some work that you can see. This is what it was before. This is what it is after they've been taken care of. We do have consults with physicians. We have consultation rooms. We go out into the community and do things like hold seminars at schools, provide toothbrushes, and things, the typical humanitarian kind of work. There's an outreach of the clinic. There's always a crowd at the clinic. We offer a pharmacy. Pharmacy is an extremely important piece to have. If you're rich enough to be able to afford a Honduran physician, the physician will write you a prescription. Well, if you're living on $2 to $3 a day for food, your choice is, do I pay for this at the pharmacy or do I feed my family? Not unusual to run into families who can only eat a meal a day or give up a meal so they could buy the medication. So as an organization, we said we are not going to be a part of that. We're going to try to provide the medication for the people who need it insofar as possible. So we have our own pharmacy. We also have an optometry department. We started out with used glasses, secondhand glasses, and cheaters. So for people who had nothing, this was something. For those who work in the field, they have no eye protection, so we need sunglasses. We also have those. And we also are trying to be child-friendly. Just a little less than a third of our patients are children. We offer wound care, and this is something that Rick and his team were very instrumental in and involved in on their last visit. We have a lot of people with wounds, open wounds that have oozed for years. We had a person who had wounds 10 or 15 years of oozing. They had a man that came in, he was a truck driver, and they wanted to amputate his foot. So this was cleaned up here on the left, and we introduced a new concept down there at the time. It's called topical oxygen therapy. Happened to be developed very near to where we live outside Westchester by a company who was pioneering this bag concept. I call it a bag. I mean, there are medical terms for it, but essentially it's a hose from an oxygenator that goes in and pumps in oxygen to the wound. That oxygen is able to penetrate your epidermis and enhance healing, speed it up. Well, after 12 weeks of therapy, 14 weeks, we get down to that. Wow. And the man is back at work He didn't have to have his foot amputated. We got a friend for life. This is the kind of thing that goes on. We offer that service at the clinic, a very popular service. Down below is are very typical kinds of wounds you see. A lot of people don't have shoes. So if you give them a pair of shoes, they may need a size 10, but they got a size shoe 6, they're going to put their foot in a 6, and they're going to wind up with this kind of thing. And then again, sanitation is always a problem. You bathe in the river, you walk barefooted, you got a wound. What do you expect? That's from our perspective. From their perspective, they need help. Well, with this topical oxygen therapy, you can go from that to what you see on the right. So it's a real boon. We pioneered this concept in Honduras. It's now used in the United States too. It's now approved by Medicare, and it's being used in this country. But we were part of that process to help get approval here in the U.S. We do a lot of surgeries. Surgeries come with 3 types that we're doing. Basically, eye surgeries, mostly cataracts, although there are other optical surgeons we believe there. We do what I'm calling general surgeries. These are outpatient surgeries, nothing that requires overnight stay because we don't have the capability. And on the right are people that are working on patients. We do have in town, it's relatively new, is a dialysis center. And they need to have sometimes surgery in order for what do you call it? Shunts to go in. And so we provide that service for the community. So that's very popular. But we only have like 4 or 5 brigades a year. So what happens the rest of the time? And then we need to fulfill that. If we can find other teams that are willing to come in and provide service, we would welcome them to the clinic because we have a facility. We have imaging equipment, very on the bottom, very high quality. This came as a result of a donor in your congregation here. We are the envy of the area to have something like this. This is not. They have things in their hospital, but nothing like this. It's old and antiquated. We've got state of the art here as far as the Hondurans are concerned. And ultrasound, well, what a way to take a good picture that helps the physician or the clinician. We also have an analytical laboratory to do blood work. We can do blood workups and pretty quickly. We have a microbiologist, PhD microbiologist on staff.
This is all in that building?
Yeah. Yes. We acquired an ambulance. And now we're talking about how we can offer services around this ambulance to reach out into the community as an extension of the clinic. The obvious thing is, and the easiest thing at the moment, is transport from home to hospital. But I'll show you later, where do you see a hospital? So this is an emerging area. I think Rick and your congregation may have an interest in something like this and being able to help us build a program around that. We're running out of space with the services that we offer in that original building. So it's time we need to get another annex up, something. And in that original building, we had 1 OR. So what we wound up doing was putting another 3,500 square foot addition adjacent to the clinic. And we now have 3 operating rooms. Wow. 3. We have a sterilization area for instruments and disposables that need a one-time use or what have you. We have, you can see the picture of what the OR looks like. We also have a new eyeglass dispensary, a new eyeglass fitting salon. And we're getting improvements in the glasses that we send. We've made the right kinds of contacts.
And the funding for all this, I'm just curious.
Just like we're here, we're talking to you. We've just shared it. We don't advertise. It's all word of mouth. And we meet people and we tell our story. And this whole project for 22 years has been, I call it a living miracle.
Yeah.
I haven't seen miracles, but I have because I participated in this kind of a program. And it's life-changing, I can tell you that, for those who administer and those to whom you provide your services. It's a two-way street. And if you want to see things happen, you don't believe in it, you need to come and see some of these things. And it's life-changing. It's very, very life-changing. Well, we're now going to be in a position to manufacture our own lenses. We're setting up an optical laboratory. This is a ward in the public hospital. They have a dual system in Honduras. There's private hospitals, private pay as you go, and that's for the elite. And if you got a fantastic job, you live in a big city, you have access to that. Out where we are, the nearest hospital is about 45 minutes away, 45 minutes to an hour across another set of mountains. You got to get them there. So the ambulance is very valuable here. Once you get there, if you were to spend some time in this hospital, you would turn your stomach. But it's the best that they have. This is a children's ward. It doesn't matter whether it's a birthing ward or a children's ward. They look the same, except you've got cages, cribbed so the children don't fall out. But I've seen 2 women to a bed in these hospitals. And this is the maternity ward. You get 1 set of sheets a day that are bloody. You find a spot that's not bloody. And you share that with a bed partner. That's what you have. So we want to be very different from that. And the people recognize our facility for what it is. I hate to say it, it's so clean you can eat off the floors, but compared to what we see and to the standard that we try to bring there, we're really clean. Really, really clean. And that's the bane of any open wound, isn't it? An infection. You don't want that. Well, it took us a number of years to find out that in our town of 25,000 people, which grows to an extra 10,000 a year during coffee harvest season. So that's sort of like November to February. So we now
What season?
Coffee.
coffee. We're in coffee country.
During coffee is very good.
Rainforest. Yeah.
Yeah, bring us back some.
Yeah, we do. Actually, I wish I had known that. But yeah, we do bring coffee back. And it's something that we use at Christmas time to help generate interest. We don't make a lot of money on the coffee, but it's...
And where are those extra 10,000 people? Are they staying in makeshift?
Yeah, they live in anything.
Yeah.
I have seen this outside the big city. I've seen people living in sewers. The grates that we have where the water runs up. I look through the grates and people are living under the grates. Yeah, it's very different. Very, very different. So we discovered there's a nursing school in town. So we go and knock on the doors, typical Americans, try to introduce ourselves, and all that. And this is the nursing class. You can see the nurses in the next picture over there. But their equipment, they don't have any. You're looking at a gurney, and you're looking at, that's where they stand to do their lectures. So we've got this magnificent facility. Why don't you come over and do your practicums at our facility? And they do, which is nice. We need to grow that. I mean, the relationship is there, but to grow it, you need funding and you need a lot of things, but we try to help to the community the best way we know how. But that's a growth area for us, is to try to incorporate this nursing school into what we do. Interestingly, when you get accepted to a program, whether it's in medical school or a nursing school, once you've been accepted, there's no time limit as to how long it takes you before you graduate. So you can, I got a family problem, you can drop out for a year. The year you come back, you pick it up and you go with your class.
That's a classic European model.
And our clinic has been recognized by the medical authorities that our director of the clinic goes to their graduation exercises and helps out to the best of her ability with that classroom. So where are we going with what we've got? This is I'm trying to capture a way to show you where we are and what we need to be doing. We're on the bottom level right here. We offer the medical, the dental, the ophthalmological services. And the most urgent thing that we need at the moment, that there's a big void and we need to help fill it. Honduras is a country of 11 million people. They have just a little over 100 ophthalmologists. These are the eye surgeons. Just a little over 100. You can't get them. So we're trying to build up that program. And we have two young people who have graduated medical school in Honduras, both of whom have wanted to become eye surgeons. So the one has gotten accepted into a government program and has a partial scholarship. And she's learning to be a surgical specialist in retinas. I didn't realize how segmented eye care is. But anyway, it's a good area. We need cataract surgeries. That we have seen people come in, they're blind. They come in with a bunch of kids because they have nobody. The husband is off trying to get a job somewhere. The wife may or may not be working. The grandmother is there. And then she can't see. She's blind. Well, in less than 20 minutes, we can change that.
Yeah.
And we do. We have the talent. I say we, when a brigade comes to town, when we bring brigades in, because we have no local eye surgeon. And the nearest one is where the hospital is, 35 to 40 minutes away. And he does come, but yes, pay me as we go, and it's fine, but we need to get it done. So, and cataracts are reversible in most cases. And after the procedure, the next day you get your bandages off. The grandmother says, you're going to school now. That's the first thing on her mind. Yes, get the kids in school. I don't need help anymore. I can do this myself. It is very gratifying to see that take place in the family. So we're building because we know we can. The ophthalmology piece, the other pieces are coming along very nicely. We need to enhance the services. We're at that next tier, that urgent or emergency care area is an area because we've got the ambulance now and we have 3 operating rooms, which we didn't have before. We now need to develop that program. We were talking, Rick and Pete and I were talking this morning a little bit about that. How can we do that? We'd like to be a center of excellence. We would like to be a teaching facility. So we want to set up an education center in some way. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. Right now we're doing it through lectures, and when groups come in, they'll hold a session for the staff. We invite in the Honduran Red Cross. There are village, what do we call them? I'm losing my train of thought. People who are out in the villages.
Guardians.
Health guardians. The health guardians come for the training, and then they take what they learn and apply it out into the villages. So we need to build that. And ultimately, we can have a hospital there. But that's going to take time. That's not going to be in our lifetime.
Wow.
But we need to make sure that what we've got is sustainable. And at this point, it is for 22 years. And that's a record. I hate to say it. There are organizations that have fallen by the wayside over there. We don't want to be one of them. So by having a local investment in the people and the education, the talent, the time that people give to this clinic, we serve the community, and they recognize that. But there will be a hospital at some point. This is our master plan. These buildings in orange exist. We own 7 acres of property that you see in green. We donated that property to Manos Amigas, to the Honduran entity that is a nonprofit that we helped set up. They own this property. They own the buildings. They own everything. We are serving as crossroads own none of this, but we got to start. This is the main building. This is the new building that I showed you before, where the ORs are. We have a warehouse as well. And now we want to put up another building for the extra services. We want to expand the eye care, for example. It's very, very demanding. And so we've engaged a Honduran architect. This is the building they're proposing to put in that spot. It'll be divided into three sections. The eye care part will be here. We'll still use the surgery center, the new building that I showed you. The center will have probably about 10 beds, overnight beds for people who require an overnight stay. And the far right will be a cafeteria so that we can feed the people. Upstairs, we're probably going to leave this undeveloped, going to build it, but leave it as flex space so that as new specialties come along, then we'll have room dividers that come out of the ceiling or sliding doors so we can reconfigure that area up there. We're out there right now raising funding for this building. This is going to take $1 million. But we're going to do it. And the Hondurans, what we want, empower them, give us a drawing. Here are the needs. This is what we'd like to see. If you think you'd like to have, oh yes, we would love it. Well, they came back with renderings and all, and the way they compartmentalized that. We're now in the process of trying to fit round pegs in square holes. Trying to make it work. But we're probably in the next year or two, we'll have enough funding to do this. But that's our mission now, is to get this up, get eye care in there. We have donated to us all the lens grinding equipment that we need. It took us a year to get it from Colorado to Honduras with all the trouble that's going on in DC and who's going to transport. Well, we got it in. It's in. Now, in that new building, we'll build an optical lab. But in the existing building that I had shown you before, we have created a space temporarily for an optical lab. So we have a training group coming in May that will come in from the States, set up the equipment, calibrate it, teach the people, because a lot of it's computerized, which is good.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to produce our own glasses. We have Zeiss Corporation, probably the finest lens manufacturer in the world. And they donated 10,000 lenses to us. So then we went to their competitor and they donated 6,000 lenses to us. So we have ample lenses. Now we're going to develop the talent and we will get the frames. The frames will be donated to us. We just need to ask. So that'll all happen. And, what a boom that's going to be, for the people to be able to have that. Well, before May, you have your team coming down and you're going to be doing wound care. And it's like, wouldn't it be nice if we could give something to the community back there as a result of that? So we were able to contact an orthopedic shoe manufacturer, and we got 500 pairs of shoes donated to us that you're going to be able to distribute while you're down there to the patients who have a need. And it'll be interesting to see how that all works.
I'm not sure if this is the right time to ask this, and forgive my lack of knowledge. When is our team? I should know this. I'm sorry.
April 18th through the 25th.
Do we do this every year?
No, we haven't done it since before COVID.
Yeah, we had it scheduled for 2022 and then COVID hit.
Yeah. So we still have the money in the pot.
Yeah.
For, and going down there.
The last one was, I think we did 2013, 2016, and 2018. I think those were the three.
Every few years.
Okay. I think I did know that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
This one's April 18th?
Yes,
Yep.
I leave on Saturday.
So the work that they're going to be doing can be life-changing. And you're going to see some of it, I'm sure. I know you will.
Will there be another trip? I'm sorry. I'm just.
Yes, there will definitely be another trip.
Okay. I'm just talking about in a couple of years?
Yeah.
Whenever you want to schedule. I mean, our doors are open.
Yeah, we work closely with them in terms of.
I mean, we were even getting folks signing up for the last.
Who here?
Afaf Corey is the
Afaf?
one that organized most of it.
Okay.
Right, and Afaf is
Okay.
unable to be here today
Yeah.
because of family emergency.
Yes.
So otherwise she
I
would have
know
been
if
here.
that. Yes.
Yeah, and Karen Ensley is the one
Yeah,
that
okay.
negotiates with Mike.
Okay.
By the way, I'm Sheila. I talked to you on the phone a long time.
No.
Anyway, that's just kind of a snippet of what we do. Just I want Rick to tell you what he envisions for the group.
If you go on their website, Serving at the Crossroads,
Okay.
you search that, you will see pictures of our team.
Okay.
Yes.
In the course of it, partly because Karen Ensley is a great photographer and she took some great pictures.
She did.